People always say Thanksgiving brings families closer. That year it brought mine to the edge of war. Our dinner didn't just come with turkey and gravy. It came with lies, betrayal, and a secret sizzling hotter than Patricia's oven. And believe me, the turkey wasn't the only thing roasted that night. I had waited 18 long months for this exact moment. 18 months of fake smiles, polite nods, and gritted teeth every time my mother-in-law flaunted her grieving widow glow-up. Silk scarves, $100 face creams, weekend spa trips. Her life looked like an audition tape for a show called Rich Widows of Suburbia. Meanwhile, David and I were slashing our grocery list, cutting coupons, doing everything we could just to stay afloat. All because of a loan that didn't even exist. We'd been married 5 years, 5 good, simple years. Back then, poor only meant money. Not peace. Not trust. Then Richard, David's father, passed away. He was the calm center of their chaotic world. The only one who could keep Patricia grounded. When he died, that balance vanished. And Patricia tried to fill the emptiness with things. Grief became her shopping list. When the life insurance came through, $300,000, David was listed as the only beneficiary, just as Richard had intended. He was careful, thoughtful, everything his father had been. So imagine my shock the morning David casually mentioned setting up loan payments for his mom. It was a sunny day, I remember, because I was stirring sugar into my coffee when he said, "We should set up the payments for mom again. Her loan's due soon." I blinked. Loan payments? He nodded, still scrolling through his phone. Yeah, the $50,000 she lent us for home repairs last year. She said we agreed on 3% interest. My hand froze mid-stir. David, we never borrowed a dime from her. We saved for those repairs ourselves. He frowned, confused. She showed me the transfer. It's real. It came from Dad's insurance money. That was the moment I should have demanded proof. But Patricia had this way of twisting things. That soft-spoken manipulation wrapped in politeness. The kind that made me look like the suspicious daughter-in-law, while she played the innocent victim. So I let it drop. Out loud, at least. Inside, my mind was on fire. When David left for work, I started digging. Quietly. Nights. Weekends. Whenever sleep wouldn't come. It took weeks, but eventually the truth unraveled piece by ugly piece. Patricia still had access to one of David's old college bank accounts. One he'd forgotten even existed. She'd transferred $50,000 from there to herself and labeled it loan to David. Then, with forged paperwork so polished it could have fooled a lawyer, she made it look like we owed her money. Every screenshot, every receipt I uncovered made my blood run colder. While David worked overtime trying to pay her back, she was out there buying herself new identities, glittering jewelry, luxury cruises, and a shiny new car sitting in her driveway like a monument to her lies. By Thanksgiving, I had everything I needed. Every screenshot, every timestamp, every receipt. Patricia loved hosting that dinner. It was her stage. Her annual performance of perfect family matriarch. The table always looked straight out of a home magazine. Flickering candles, matching china, gold accents everywhere. "The stuffing is a family recipe," she announced proudly, smoothing her golden cream tablecloth. "Some people like to experiment, but I believe in keeping traditions authentic." Her smile landed squarely on me, and so did the jab. 2 weeks earlier, I'd offered to bring cornbread stuffing from my grandmother's recipe. Patricia had smiled sweetly and said, "Real stuffing doesn't include cornbread." Classic Patricia. Tradition, as long as she got to define it. Across the table, David's sister Lauren shot me a knowing smile. She'd had 30-plus years to master the art of surviving her mother's perfection. Lauren was kind, grounded, the opposite of her mother's golden child fantasy. Patricia wanted a high-profile lawyer daughter. Instead, Lauren became a teacher. Humble, loving, family-oriented. And tonight she'd see the truth too. Because this Thanksgiving I wasn't carving turkey. I was carving the truth, right in front of everyone. The dinner table was filled with small talk and subtle jabs, the kind that hide tension behind polite smiles. Suddenly, without realizing it, David turned the knife in his hand and changed the mood. "Speaking of family matters," he said, reaching for the gravy. "Honey, did you make the payments to Mom? She said they were late." The air went tense instantly. Even Patricia's bracelet seemed to stop chiming. I said calmly, The truth is, the payments are late because we never received that loan in the first place. Every eye in the room snapped toward me. Patricia froze, fork suspended midair. That's ridiculous, she said quickly. I helped you both when you needed it. I have the records. Yes, I replied softly. The records that show the money went to your account, not ours. David blinked first at me, then at his mother, his confusion growing. Patricia laughed, but it sounded brittle. Your wife must be mistaken. Maybe she's mixing up the dates. You remember that Vegas trip, don't you? Yours, I interrupted sharply. The Vegas trip you took the same week the so-called loan left David's account. Maybe we should talk about that. Or the new car. Or the spa memberships. A heavy silence fell. I reached into my purse and pulled out a thick manila envelope I'd been carrying for months. Patricia, I said evenly, I have the real bank records. Either you tell David the truth or I will. Lauren and Mark quickly ushered the kids to the living room, leaving the adults in a charged, suffocating silence. All that could be heard was the tapping of Patricia's diamond bracelet against her wine glass. Mom, David said again, voice harder this time. Patricia's expression flickered, defiance, fear. Then a brief, practiced display of pity. Darling, she began. After your father died, I was lost. I needed something to bring me joy. I was going to pay it back. Before what? I interrupted. Before you got caught? Before we completely drained ourselves paying for your lie. The room froze. David barely breathed. Let me see everything, he whispered. My hands didn't shake. I spread the papers in front of him, transfers, dates, amounts, all pointing to her. Then I pulled out my phone. There's more, I said. Want to see Patricia's Vegas posts? The one she thought disappeared after 24 hours? Lauren leaned forward, voice faint. Mom, tell me that's not true. Oh, but it is, I continued, tapping the screen. Here's Patricia at a slot machine in the Bellagio. Here she is shopping for a $4,000 Chanel handbag, the same week we told Emma she couldn't go to France because we were struggling to pay back your loan. David turned sharply. Emma's trip, his voice broke. Lauren's lip trembled, remembering her daughter's tears. She had cried for days. Patricia scoffed. It was just a school trip. Not that important. Lauren's calm shattered. Don't you dare. Mark works harder than anyone I know. We live within our means. Try that sometime. Patricia's eyes hardened. I deserved that money. After everything I lost, losing Richard. We all lost, David. We all. You turned your father's death into a business opportunity, David said, cutting her off. I am your mother. Patricia shouted, rising like royalty on trial. When we were kids, Lauren said softly but sharply, Dad handled the money. Now I see exactly why. I reached for one last paper. The final card in this slow-burning deck. Care to explain the second mortgage on your house, Patricia? The one your husband didn't know about. Her face drained of color. 3 months before Richard died, I said. You forged his signature. The bank confirmed it, fake signature, false witness, the works. Their fraud department has been very helpful. Patricia's hand shook violently, spilling wine across her linen tablecloth. You had no right to dig into my private affairs, she cried. Actually, I said, voice deadly calm, as the victims of your fraud, we did have every right. The bank agreed, especially when they saw the pattern. David sat motionless, eyes hollow. Pattern. I nodded. The second mortgage, hidden credit cards, stolen $50,000, everything was connected. With a crash, Patricia shot up, chair flipping backward. This is insanity. I'm your mother. Are you going to believe these lies? Lies. Lauren's quiet fury filled the room. Like the one about my college fund disappearing in the market crash? That was you too, wasn't it? Patricia said nothing. That silence spoke louder than any denial. How long? David's jaw clenched. How long have you been stealing from us? I wasn't stealing. Patricia's voice broke. I was just borrowing. I was going to pay it all back. I just needed a little more time. A few more trips to Vegas to gamble away more of our money, I added coldly. You turned on me. Patricia pointed a manicured finger. You turned my children against me. You could have kept quiet. Let me handle this privately. But no, you had to make a spectacle, just like you made a spectacle of yourself on social media. I pulled up another saved post. Here, bragging about your new spa membership while we canceled car insurance to make your loan payments. Is this the kind of privacy you wanted? David stood slowly, his chair scraping against the hardwood floors Patricia insisted on installing, probably with more stolen money. I want to see everything, he said quietly. Every document, every transaction, every lie. And then, Mom, you will pay back every penny. I don't have the money, Patricia wailed. I spent it. Then sell the car, Lauren suggested coldly. And the designer bags and jewelry. Maybe if you're lucky we won't press fraud charges. The carefully constructed mask of family harmony shattered. Thanksgiving dinner wasn't the only thing that got roasted that year. The truth had finally come to the table. Patricia sank back into her chair, the illusion of control she had spent decades building collapsing around her like an untouched turkey cooling on her pristine table. I'm your mother, she murmured, but the words rang hollow, stripped of authority by the chaos she had sown. Thanksgiving had torn through our family like a storm, leaving devastation in its wake. Within a week, Patricia's curated life began to unravel. The luxury car was sold, barely recovering a fraction of what she had misappropriated. Her designer wardrobe found its way to consignment shops, and her country club membership was terminated. But even that wasn't enough. The total is far worse than we thought, David said one evening, combing through the financial statements alongside our lawyer. With the second mortgage, credit cards, and everything else, she's stolen nearly $200,000 over the last 5 years. The number hung in the room, oppressive and staggering. This wasn't just about the missing $50,000 anymore. It was the evidence of a pattern, years of deception and betrayal. Lauren unearthed the college fund documents hidden in Patricia's attic. $45,000, supposedly lost to market downturns, had actually fueled Patricia's first gambling binge. Lauren's hands trembled as she held the papers. I worked 3 jobs to pay for college, she said during a tense family meeting, her voice taut with anger. I'm still paying off student loans while she was living off my money. Patricia alternated between feigned remorse and indignation. One morning she appeared at our door, her makeup heavy and mask-like. I'm seeing a gambling counselor, she declared, as if that could erase years of theft. And a therapist. They say I have addiction issues because of losing your father. He'd be ashamed. David closed the door firmly, his first moment standing up to his mother without flinching. I felt a surge of pride for him, despite the sorrow in his eyes. The bank's fraud department became our ally, tracing every last dollar. They discovered transfers we hadn't known existed, including one startling revelation. Patricia tried to access David's retirement account just 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, he said quietly. She would have emptied everything. But I had caught on in time, giving us a choice about how to move forward. Lauren and Mark decided to press charges for the college fund theft, while David and I chose a legally binding repayment plan. Patricia would work part-time at Lauren's school as an administrative assistant, with her wages going directly toward paying back her debts. It's more than she deserves, Lauren said, her decision firm. But maybe she'll learn something from earning honestly. 3 months later we hosted another family dinner, this time at our home. The table wasn't set with fine china, but with mismatched plates David and I had collected over the years, each carrying a story. Patricia arrived in clothes from Target, her hair streaked with gray. She sat quietly, a faint shadow of her former commanding self. I managed to refund Emma's school trip, she admitted at dessert, her voice barely above a whisper. The Paris one. I explained everything and called in favors. She can go this summer if she wants. Lauren's eyes welled up with tears while Emma squealed in delight. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a beginning. As everyone left, Patricia lingered by the doorway. I never thought I'd end up here, she confessed. After your father died, I felt lost. Shopping, gambling, it made me feel in control. But I wasn't, was I? No, I said gently. She nodded, adjusting her modest purse. Thank you, she said softly, for stopping me before I lost everything. My counselor says addicts don't stop until they hit rock bottom. You caught me before I dragged everyone down with me. She left, walking to her used Toyota rather than summoning a luxury ride. David wrapped his arm around me as we watched her go. Do you think she's really changed? He asked. Time will tell, I replied. But at least now she knows someone's watching. That night, as we prepared for bed, David noticed me staring at our wedding photo, the one where Patricia had insisted on standing between us. "You know what's funny?" he murmured, holding me close. "She always said you weren't good enough for this family. Turns out you were the one protecting it all along." I smiled. "We protect what we love. And I love you." Even if, in Patricia's eyes, Target clothes were a fate worse than death. He laughed, the sound genuine for the first time since Thanksgiving. We were still navigating the aftermath, the betrayal, the lies, the financial wreckage, but healing had begun. Patricia attended her counseling sessions and made her payments. Lauren's daughter practiced French with renewed excitement. Our family dinners, though simpler now, carried honesty and warmth. Sometimes the cost of healing is high, but the price is worth paying.